Okay baby, if you're watching this clip, it's because you've agreed to marry me. Thank you so much, I love you. And the purpose of this clip is just to tell you a little bit more about the process by which I came to have this ring developed, and to give you a little bit more insight into how I was thinking of you along that process. The process of putting a ring together for you actually started almost a year ago now. I've been thinking about it for some time, what parts of our relationship should go into this and how should they be symbolized in a ring. And so one of the obvious things is our places of origin. That three-way cultural difference from the three places that we are from and live does make us laugh sometimes and does have significant bearing on who we are and our journey and our future. From the Australian side, I wanted something that's obviously unique to Australia, but also something that is enduring, something that's fun, something that's non-standard, something that I know that you like, something that I like. And I know that you like Rainbow Lattice Moonstone. It's really cool. It's something most people haven't heard of before. It's really fun to look at in different directions and in different ways. It has a depth to it as well. It's actually got lots of different interesting components to the particular gem, and it's all sustainably sourced. There's a single site in the world, in the remote deserts of Northern Australia, where this mineral is found, and it's only found in a 400 square metre area, and within that it's only a tiny pocket that produces Rainbow Lattice Moonstone of any significant quality. There is one organisation that sells that, so I contacted the company, eventually got through to the owner of the company, who's been a gemstone cutter and collector for many years, and prospector. He was the guy that found the source. He goes out there to educate people to how to find this.
I ended up in the Northern Territory, and I was near an old mica mine with a friend, and yeah, we just walked around the back of a hill, and here we are just picking it up, just laying on the ground where it had weathered out, and asked a few gemological friends, and they said, we've never seen this before. That's the only deposit in the world. Everything you see has come from hand digging and then sieving, washing it, and it's all done ethically. I spent a lot of time cutting different materials and just finding different stones, and I just became a well-known cutter.
When I told him about what I was looking for in the context of the whole ring project, he lit up, clapped his hands and said, I think I can help you, young man. He showed me the minerals that he had available through his store, and I kind of went through those. And then he said, yeah, but I've also got some other ones that I can show you as well. So he started showing me some of the stones from his private collection. One of them leapt out immediately because it was the only one amongst all of the stones that I'd seen that has a big V for Virginia right in the middle of the stone. It's flashing, literally iridescent V flashing out of this stone. Darren really liked the project to the point where he personally cut the stone himself. I specified how to have the stone cut. It's nice to have that personal connection with Darren. A little over 100 years ago, Argentina, being one of the wealthiest countries in the world, did what only European nations were doing at that time, which was minting almost solid gold coins for mass distribution, and that functioned almost as bullion actually. A lot of banks took in these coins, and so they were very rare up until the early 90s, and then a large batch was discovered in a bank vault, and it was one of those coins that I was able to procure.
This was made in Argentina in 1888. The obverse of the coin depicts a bust of Liberty, and the reverse is the Argentinian coat of arms. They are highly sought after, very highly collectible. The coin contains 90% pure gold, actual gold weight of 0.2334 of an ounce.
Of course, 90% gold ring isn't feasible from a jewellery perspective. It's too pure. We had to go through some steps in order to reduce the gold content down to something workable by a jeweller. Turns out that the Pratt Institute here in Seattle has a precious metal workshop, so I managed to find an instructor there who was willing to help me get the materials, which were essentially that high quality gold coin from Argentina, and then 18 karat gold casting grains that would be mixed together to make enough of the alloy for a ring.
It's very relaxing to come in here, like, oh yeah, we're gonna melt metal, 2000 degrees, pour it in a bucket, don't worry about it. I like doing small scale jewelry, but I like doing kind of sculptural work this size. There's always a story behind the piece. When you melt metal, it's pretty tricky because You have to make sure your two alloys play well together. But gold loves everything. It will pretty much play with anybody and be happy and stable.
Yeah, well, do the math, put it on the scale. Since I wasn't telling anyone at this point, I'm doing the math on my own and I don't want to mess that up. So I had a little kind of nervous minute, but then, when Brandon saw the proportions of things, it kind of passed the sanity check. So we're okay to go from that perspective.
You're going to put it in a bowl and you're going to heat it until it's ranging somewhere between 1800 and 2600 degrees Fahrenheit.
I got to melt it down, use some flaming things. It was really great. There's a moment when you're pouring the molten gold into the cooling vat, and that needs to be done at a height so that there's enough impact to scatter the grains as they cool. You pour it from chest height, but you're sideways to the vessel. It's getting towards the lip and I'm looking down to the bucket and I'm thinking, if I miss this, I'm pouring molten gold all over the floor and it's just going to go everywhere. I was pretty happy that it all went in the bucket. So that's great. They take those grains and they put them into the funnel that's ultimately used in a centrifuge to do the casting. So it was a fun insight into workshopping of that type.
Take it up.
Since we live and met in the US, it seemed like a good step to get some diamonds that are mined in the USA, of course. How hard can that be, right? I started asking around, calling some diamond dealers, and of course there are no diamonds in the US. But then after digging around for some time, I realized that diamonds had been mined in the US. They're either extremely hard to get because the good ones are in museums because they're rare, or you have to actually go to the Crater of Diamonds State Park and find them yourself. In fact, it's the only diamond mine in the world where you can pay a small fee to enter the mine and then you have the right to dig for and keep any diamonds that you find. It was clear that I was going to need some help to find these diamonds. I first worked my way up through the diamond industry until I got to Martin DeWitt. He's the director of the American Diamond Cutting Institute, arguably America's top diamond cutter.
Most people have no idea what diamond cutting really looks like. Although it's the basis of what I've done for the last 45 years, it's not the only thing I've done. It's led me to a successful career throughout the diamond industry. Diamonds have fascinated me for a long time.
Called Martin and finally got him on the phone. When I started describing the project to him, he said, okay, I can see that you're only going to settle for American diamonds, okay.
We wanted to do this piece for you in Virginia, which was, with the American-made goods and fair source material. And I thought, yeah, this is great.
Then he gave me the number of Glenn Worthington. So it turns out that Glenn Worthington is the author of the book of American Diamonds. When I contacted him and I told him what I was specifically looking for, he got pretty excited because firstly, a lot of people don't know about Crater of Diamonds, so the fact that an Australian would come looking for his help made him very happy.
I am a prospector. In the summer of '78, I was working a construction job. A guy had been gone on vacation, so Monday morning he comes back. I said, "Where'd you go?" He said, "Oh, I went down to that diamond mine in Arkansas." I said, "What? There's no diamond mine in the United States." He said, "Oh yeah, and it's open to the public." And it was like he was speaking a foreign language. So I researched it a few hours, and then I did the only logical thing. I went in the next day and quit my job and loaded up the tent and the car and moved down there for the summer, lived in a tent and hunted for diamonds. Diamonds were first discovered there in 1907 by a hog farmer. The diamonds don't jump out of the ground like you would hope a Mexican jumping bean would hop out and pop in your pocket. You've got to pry them out with a shovel. You find your first diamond when you see that little beauty in your hand. Oh, finally, there it is, and it's just gorgeous. People from all over the world come here.
He put me onto one of his diamond collector friends, so I eventually got in touch with Sam.
We own an archaeological site here in Murfreesboro. Over the years, I've sold and bought hundreds of diamonds from the crater and got to know all of the regular diggers that go all the time. People are kind of seeking American diamonds. They're so rare that a lot of people still don't even know they're available. less than 3% of the diamonds are over a carat.
And I was looking for 2 diamonds of sufficient size and quality to represent us. And Sam dug back through his collection and found the only 2 of sufficient size and quality from a guy called James Archer that he'd been holding on to for more than 30 years since he bought them directly from James Archer back in the 70s.
James was a local man that lived in Nashville, a little town about 12 miles from here, and worked at a sawmill. He was a hard-working man, and he and his wife used to come over on Sunday afternoons and search for diamonds when the mine first opened. He looked for over 2 years on the surface and never found a diamond. And he started digging, and he found 3 diamonds right away. And he got really hooked. And so every afternoon after work, he would come over and dig for a couple of hours.
I mean, he worked 6 days a week at it. He could outdig anybody. He was a very hardworking, sweet man.
Hardworking, honest, respected person who used the proceeds from his diamonds to put his kids through college, essentially. And he clearly was admired and respected by his peers.
He became the most prolific diamond miner.
He found more diamonds than anybody at the crater ever has or ever will.
Glenn estimates he found over 5,000 diamonds. I bought a lot of diamonds from James, and I still have diamonds from James.
James Archer is like, there's somebody who loved what he did. He obviously was a legend on his own. You know, he was a man of a different stripe, and he's no longer with us.
People wanted a James Archer diamond. You know, it was that special. And I had no idea Sam still had a couple of James Archer diamonds. I thought they were all spread to the wind.
And we got 2 that were matched for what you were looking for. So that was just like serendipity, you know, that was just great.
What a remarkable find right there, to find a couple of James Archer diamonds that could still be cut and put in a ring. I mean, that is special.
I was really happy to be able to do those.
I had no idea you could accomplish this. And then to send them off to be certified is excellent. And then to have them micro laser engraved on the girdle. Now with these, you can have the paper trail all the way back to James Archer and the Crater of Diamonds. That is fantastic. I tell you, I get goosebumps thinking about it. I'm excited. I'm excited you found a couple of James Archer diamonds.
It's very rare when you're looking at a diamond to A, really know where it's come from, and then B, it's especially rare to know that the diamond was found by a very specific individual. In fact, it really is only from the diamonds that come from this one particular place, because it's the only place in the world you can hunt for them yourself.
What is unique is that they're all hand dug, hand washed, and hand sorted. Their natural made is the smallest carbon footprint of any diamond. Every one is different, like snowflakes. Every crystal is unique.
Arkansas diamonds are very collectible. Arkansas diamonds were formed so deep in the earth and are so old, they've been what the crystallographers call reconstituted, like through the eons of years of coming up this diamond pipe, they've been like melted and reformed and put into other crystal shapes. Arkansas diamonds, like I say, being a little harder, they last longer. And I think most people that have Arkansas diamonds in their rings are married for a long time.
He showed me the diamonds from his collection. They're framed, they're uncut, and said he thought that they'd make a good cut, each of them, but you never really know, you know, because when they're rough, they just don't have the smooth faces to look into. I had 2 weeks, a lump in my throat, as I'd found the only 2 diamonds of this size and quality from this mine that were out there that this collector had, and I'm having them shipped over to this guy who only cuts the best things, and I'm thinking, you know, what if they arrive and, you know, they're not quite the right size, or what if he rejects them on quality basis or whatever, and I get the call from Martin. He's saying, yeah, these are great diamonds.
This was fun to do because it's an area that I know, it's people that I've met, and it's kind of, I think, the very beginnings of a new movement taking place in the United States, which is responsible sourcing. I mean, I think it's awesome. I think it very easily could be trend-setting.
It was really great that at that point, Martin was really involved in the project as well and was really helping me out in ways that I could not have expected. On
those stones of yours, the first thing I kind of make a couple little windows in it, look in it, see where the most problematic areas will be. By problematic, I mean it's got inclusions that I don't really want to see, or if I see them, I want them to be on the edge of the stone or something. So I start to position that stuff, remove it. Fairly quickly, what you have to establish is where's the table going to be. Then that becomes your base point, and then you start whittling away at it. Eventually, I'll get to a point where I'll put it on a lathe and spin it round. Then I've got to match facets and just start doing stuff. You can be down to your very last facet before you take out the last little nick or the last little spot that you want to take out, and you're not certain it's going to come out till you get there. You kind of have to play around with it for a bit and see where the stone within it lies. And then once you find that, then just go ahead and make it. Then the other trick is to know when you're finished, when you're making it round. Am I going to get a top and a bottom? And you don't really know exactly until you then make the top or the bottom. So it's hard to describe that whole process because there's a lot that goes on simultaneously. But from the rough that's how I was trained, and it's fun. I love that. Because it was flat, one of those flat sides is going to be the table. That one was pretty easy to get started because of that. You just polish one side and see which side has the most junk in it, and that's going to be the one that comes to a point in the center, and the one that's the cleanest is going to have that flat top. So that one was the easier of the two to cut, and actually was kind of the cleaner of the two as well. The one that was rounder had more stuff inside it and had to be cleaned away. They came out remarkably clean. I did not expect them to be as clean as they did.
He was able to cut both stones to the same size in the same cut, and the clarity worked out really great as well. So I was greatly relieved to hear that the only opportunity to get these things cut turned out great.
Bringing you and Virginia together is one thing, but it brought all of us together again too. To all be involved in the same thing. And I know you talked to Glenn for a while. The guy loves what he does or he wouldn't be there. I mean, this is not a labor of being a millionaire. Same thing with me, the same thing with James Archer. Actually really thrilled that you're putting together this whole story, even down to the inscription. This is kind of a little bit of the putting my toe in the water on working with an individual. I think it's pretty exciting stuff. The story for you guys, I think, is really cool. I don't know of anybody else who's done anything like it at all.
So in making a design choice, I wanted to incorporate some of the things that I know that you like, some of the things that I like, and also to get some design input from somebody I know that you trust. So I enrolled Olivia to help me select down some of the designs as we worked with Sophia to settle onto a final design. I'd been in contact with Sophia Shen, who's a ring designer at Green Lake Jewelry Works.
We custom build from scratch, and knowing how things are built, how the material works, as well as what ways you can manipulate it helps you design better because then you can really push the boundaries of what's possible. Because we can do anything, I think people find us because they can't find what they're looking for. Here we're not trying to reproduce the same rings, we're trying to talk to each individual. Each one has their own story. It's kind of that fun background story that makes it unique in yours, and it's not just commercialized. What we're trying to do is make a wearable work of art. Based off of the designs that I was looking at, definitely there's a design aesthetic to it, that kind of bohemian, geometric shaping to it. Plus those stones that you're wanting to use are pretty unique, and so make sure those stand out the most, as well as protecting the center stone was probably the first and key most thing that I keep as bullet points. I usually present a few ideas. Usually one of them is kind of going to be the one that sticks out the most, and I think you kind of confirm that too with someone.
We had a couple of design back and forth moments with Sophia as we worked to incorporate some of the parts of the ring. So for example, I wanted to open up some of the faces of the diamond, and that required a design restructure and then checking the structural integrity of the ring as part of that design.
Opening the bezel like that, it kind of creates that open light for the stone itself, and make sure that that laser inscription is visible. And they all work under a very high power microscope so they can read it too. It's a lot of responsibility, but it's rewarding at the end because someone's going to get to wear it forever.
There were some design challenges in this particular ring. Notably, the Rainbow Lattice Moonstone is a particularly soft material, and that was put in combination with diamonds, which are obviously very hard. Because it's such a soft stone, it required a particular type of setting in which it's not clamped in the way most harder stones would be.
I've been CAD modeling rings for about, I want to say, 3 years now. Sophia, she'll give me her design, her sketch. She'll give me all the stone dimensions, specifications, finishes, that kind of thing. And I'll start with a basic rail, like a circumference of the finger size, and then I'll just build from there. For this ring, I built it all top view. So she had a flat sketch, and I just built basically everything three-dimensionally and then wrapped it around, a finger rail. So that's what gives it that three-dimension model. The challenge for that one was the stone. It's a custom cut, and so we have a stone scanner. They'll scan a pretty accurate dimensions of the stone, and then we'll use that and kind of model the setting. And then we add it to the 3D printer and make sure it matches. After that's approved, it goes to casting.
I'm really a jeweler at the base level, and then I kind of just started adding on the casting stuff. I look for structure, I look for integrity, kind of have to visualize ahead of time how things are going to work, if it's going to work and fit. Because a lot of times when you get into more custom jewelry, you start seeing a little bit more specific nuance that you can't get from a wholesaler. There's just something you need to detail yourself. Customer gold is always a problem. That one bag that you had labeled 20 karat, I was like, this is minorly sketchy because we buy from wholesalers, from refiners, just pure grain. I know it's pure. I know it's going to be perfect. I don't have to worry about it. But if I knew what it is, I can make some adjustments for it. But if I don't know, I kind of got to wing it.
The ring cast come out, and what I do is I clean up, make it bright and shiny, and then do the setting. Your stone, what I heard, is special, so I'm very careful on that. I know it's soft stone. I don't want to mess with this. I don't want to break it. And then final polish. A half bezel setting is not that strong, so you have to be careful with it.
I found it fascinating to get a front row seat for the entire ring design, conception, execution, manufacturing, finishing process, and to get an opportunity to interact with each of the individuals that had a hand in each of those parts. It's really fascinating to see it move, especially now from the sketch through to 3D CAD models, through to something tangible, but it's made of wax, needing to casting, and then finally to see the final product with the stone set. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It was exactly as I'd imagined from the time that Sophia started the first sketches, so to finally have that piece in my hand, looking at it was a really great moment.
Leo in Virginia, I wish you guys the best, and I really do think that the Arkansas Diamond's going to help you and your relationship last a long time. Good luck.
I hope that everything goes well and you have a really wonderful life together, and I hope you really appreciate my wonderful gem, and that it does justice.
Leo in Virginia, congratulations, and I hope you love the ring. I would be excited to meet you one of these days, and then if you guys need wedding bands, let me know.
I hope she loves it.
Congrats, and be happy for the rest of your life with Japan.
Wishing you for all the best, for many years to come. Hope y'all have a great adventure. Cherish it forever.
I wish you, Leo, and Virginia absolutely the best for a marriage that's every bit the marriage of all the different pieces that came together on this puzzle. And I hope both last as long as each other. And I wish you well moving forward into the future. I hope it's happy and brilliant.
Leo, I want to wish you and Virginia a very happy marriage. And I'm very excited that you could put together this special, meaningful diamond from the USA of James Archer Diamonds. And I hope you have many happy years together.
The original vision was to incorporate parts of your and my relationship that are embodied in a ring. And that's what I'm especially happy with this ring. We really do have those various parts that came together in a coherent way. It's a direct message from my soul, I suppose, as an indicator to you through this ring of how deeply I want to get things right for you, not just in this, but symbolically for the future. I love you very much, honey.